Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today.
Hey guys, it's Professor Presbury. I just wanted to do a short video. Something I was thinking about, and I'm a little shabby, please don't mind. It's something I was thinking about. I was just like, you know what? Oh, happy holidays to you and everyone that you. All right, at the time of the filming of this video, happy holidays. I'm not going to say which holiday because I'll probably use it at different some semesters. But happy holidays for any holidays that begin at the beginning of the year. Happy holidays for any holidays that begin towards the end of the year. That's what I'll say, right? So that's very neutral. I like that. So let's move forward with that, right? All right. So anyway, I was thinking about something. Something that had happened the other day. I was going to work, to one of my jobs or whatever, because I have several, if you guys know anything about me. I was going to one of my jobs, and we have valet parking. And, one of the gentlemen there that works in the valet had noticed my earrings, and we was talking about that. He was like, yo, like, your earrings is really, nice, whatever. And he kind of was like, what do you do? And I told him, what my position was, and he was like, yo, that's really cool. And I was like, yeah. And we kind of were just, talking back and forth about like, being yourself in a workplace and representation. Like, I don't even know how we out it was just a really nice conversation. He was a younger gentleman. He was probably like in his early 20s. Like, I'm not the oldest guy in the world, you know what I mean? But generally, this was a person that was younger than me, and you could tell, So we were just kind of talking off that, just talk about, progressiveness as far as, climate and the workplace and things like that, and I told him, and this is an absolute truth, this is a real story. I told him that, when I was younger, and even now, my father, who I love very much, and I idolize. My dad is like one of my heroes, also do not drive and vlog or blog or YouTube or TikTok or video. Don't do that. Obey traffic laws. In any case, so what I was saying was, my father, one of my heroes, he always would tell me like to kind of like tone it down a little bit. My dad would say something to the effect of, Jay, tone it down, with the beard, and tone it down with the earrings, and don't do this and don't do that. You know what I mean? And it wasn't because he was trying to, stop me from being me and like that, but it was just like my dad is an older gentleman, obviously, and also, African American, that should be without saying. And one of the things that, he told me and instilled in me is like, look, back in the day, like black people, had a hard time even getting jobs like the one that you have, he relayed to me that back in the day, minorities, African Americans, Latina, etc., could not really get, front facing jobs, like jobs facing the public. So like department stores, you really weren't getting that. And if you did, you were probably, considerably lighter skin. You had to straighten your hair, et cetera, et cetera. Those things that really, I want to say, muted your ethnicity or really muted your, uniqueness or whatever, traits were about you were generally muted. And I told, the gentleman, doing the valet, we're vibing about that. And I said, look, my dad said this and that. And he was like, you know what, but your dad's right though. He's like, back in the day, you really couldn't. No, no, absolutely. I understand that to be a truth. But, part of that is why I think I push back. It's 2022. And I'm not saying things are as great as they should be, but I'm saying that we've made tremendous progress on all grounds as individuals with not only inclusiveness, progressiveness, education, openness, and just getting to know one another and loving one another and being equal. In many ways, it's better. That's what I'll say. I'll make a blanket statement to say, in many ways, it's better. And I believe that it is. The fact of the matter is, I wouldn't be in the position I am if that were not so. I want to say it kind of goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? It's like, it's better because we're trying, but we're trying to make it better, if that makes any sense. So, one of the things I was talking to the gentleman about, I was like, yeah, you know what? I really like to be myself, and I dress professionally. I wear suits and ties and all that. Or sometimes I go in with the professor look, with the professor sweater, with the tie underneath the dress shirt. That's fine. But it's like, I also make sure that I kind of represent myself as much as possible. Sometimes like, earrings, or like my beard is, usually better groomed, but my beard, I'll have like a custom tie clip with either, the initial of my last name or my name, I'll have, watches, bracelets, whatever. But the point is, I try to make sure that I am in some way expressing myself, through my clothing when I work. And I think that a lot of that is me trying to change the narrative. And I really, and that's what he and I were just talking about, because he was like, look, like, it's crazy. He's like, I've never seen, a person in your position that was, more like me. Cause he was an African American fellow. He's like, I've never seen someone in a position that's more like me. And I was like, yeah, like, like, look, it is what it is. I'm black and I'm doing the job. But I think that those are things that people need to see. People talk about representation and things like that. And those things really do matter. When I was younger, when I was a young black kid, black boy or whatever, a lot of the movies that I watched in the early 90s, well, I would call the second black renaissance. You're talking about, I'm going to try to stay on topic. I'm all over the place, guys, but I'll try to stay on topic. I hope this is useful in some way, or somebody gets what I'm trying to say. I would watch movies like, Boomerang, movies like Strictly Business, and those kind of movies, really showed, African Americans in the workplace in a predominant way. And you really hadn't seen that. At least I hadn't seen that to that point. And what I really mean is, if you watch a lot of films, a lot of movies from, older days or whatever, we're always the help. You know what I mean? We're never the people in charge. And so in that way, we don't really know to kind of strive for those things. So when you watch things like Boomerang, Strictly Business, The Cosby Show, without the controversy, take all that out. A Different World, showing us as educated, showing us as being in college, etc. I think that it really shows African Americans, as competent and as successful. And it really lets you know that you can really strive for things and really push for things. And those are the things that I grew up seeing. And then also, with my father, like I said, I'm second generation healthcare. Healthcare is very big in my family. My father, was and is a medical coder, and I am a mid-level administrator. Yeah, I'm a mid-level administrator, is also being, an educator with you guys. It really was something for me to strive for. And that's why I think it's important. And that's why I try to be very vocal and I try to be very out there, because I've heard that more than once. As an administrator, I've gone places, I talk to people, and they're like, wow, I didn't know that you could be black and be, a director, or you could be black and be a senior director, or be black and be a professor, or be black and be a manager. I've still heard that. That's not even a joke. I've still heard that. 2022, people be like, okay, like, and like, you'll meet somebody ethnic, and like, you guys will, just look at each other, and like, it's like the code. You'll know, be like, okay, be like, all right, you be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, solidarity, like, whatever. So, the general gist of what I wanted to say was, and again, I tend to ramble, so I'm sorry. I hope this is useful in some way. I really enjoy, being where I am in either, profession, as an administrator and also as an educator. I think is important that we really, get out there and be the face of things. I think that, inclusiveness and progression has really gone a long way. And that's why I try to get out there, because I don't know, I may be inspiring someone else to aim for these things, I may be inspiring someone else to want to be a director, to want to be a professor. I've met people and I've had conversations that be like, again, like, you're a professor? Like, you don't look like a professor. What does a professor look like? Let's change that conversation. You know what I mean? First of all, I've met people be like, you're a director? You don't look like a director, because people have a very, preconceived notion of what that looks like. And I think that can look like anything. And I think that we really need to really be more inclusive and to be more progressive. And if you're younger, push and just dream. Okay, I'm sorry. No, sorry. Let's switch it. If you're anybody, not if you're younger, push and just dream. You know what I mean? Because you can do it and you can get there. It's hard work. Yeah. Hard work is always the truth, the reality of anything, but that's fun, man. I ain't got no problem working hard. Just let me get in the door. It's always been my thing. I was like, I'm going to succeed. Just open the door, So overall, happy holidays to everybody, either on the front end of the year or on the back end of the year, whenever you're viewing this. And I just want to say, you really can go as far as you want to go. You can go as far as you have the energy to go. You can go as far as you have the dream to go. You can go as far as you have the effort to go. You can go as far as you have the strength to go, because you never know who's watching you and, taking account of your successes and being inspired. You know what I mean? And, I think that goes for everybody, Like I said, I worked as a medical coder before. Again, I'll tell this one last story. I know y'all about trying to eat your whatever, insert holiday appropriate food, right? Anyway, yeah, I was a medical coder back in the day. This was like 8 years ago or however. And I was on vacation. And I'm not, again, medical coder is a great job. It's a great career. I did it, right, for a little bit. And then I moved on to other things once I perfected it, whatever, right? I was driving in Washington, D.C., and I had a new car at the time. I have a new car now, but I had a new car at the time. And I pulled up to this hotel, this really nice hotel, and they had valet. And there was a young black guy. And I get out, and I'm black. And he just looked at me, and he just stared for like a really long time. He was just like, huh, right? And I was like, oh, it was like, good morning, whatever. And he was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, what's up, And, we kind of vibed too then. And he was even like, he's like, yo, can I ask you, like, what do you do for a living? I was like, oh, I'm a medical coder. I'm this, I'm that, whatever, right? That's what I did at the time. And again, I'm not saying that a medical coder makes you a millionaire. It don't, but it's a good way to live life. It's good. You can make good money or whatever. And, I pulled up, but it was just very clear to me that this younger gentleman, and I was in my early 20s then, so he might have been like a few years off of me, but he looked at me and he saw something that he hadn't seen, which was as direct as I can be, young black success. You know what I mean? And that's not to be arrogant. It's not to be this or that. But I could tell just based off the interaction. He was like, yo, because I had a new car. I was dressed nicely. I was staying in that hotel that he was working at, and it wasn't cheap. You know what I'm saying? So he was looking at me like, okay, like, what's going on here? Like, I've never seen something like this. And so we kind of vibed off that. And that's why I kind of go back and be like, hey, you never really know who's watching you, or you never really know who you can inspire or you can touch. Because, the younger generation is looking, and people are looking, and they want to, they want to be successful, and they want to be happy. Everybody does, everybody wants to get to where they want to get to. And I think that he saw something in me and was like, wow, like, okay, like, you can do it. Like, because I don't know, at least at the time that I'm recording this, again, it's not a political statement. There are areas in major cities that don't have a lot of money. Like, that's as general as I could put it, Like, there are areas in major cities with people who are, at the time of recording, dense population minorities, black, Hispanic, whatever, Asian, whatever. And they're not used to seeing people be successful in a legitimate way in those areas. And you really can internalize that, whether you think about it consciously or subconsciously. People can internalize that, if all you see is success associated with a certain group of people, you believe that success is for that group of people, when success can be and should be for anybody. You know what I mean? So for him to see me kind of, at least on a small scale, disrupted that within him. And he was like, whoa, like, okay. He was like, I like what I'm seeing, but that's just my message to you guys. Push for where you want to be, push for who you want to be, push for how you want to be, You really can make it if you try. And again, I'm not saying I'm a millionaire. I'm not out here like P. Diddy. I'm not on a yacht or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm just a guy that worked hard. And, I think that, a professor is a admirable, respectable institution and job. And I love doing it. And I think that, being a healthcare administrator is all those things as well. I love doing that. I love both. I love all my jobs. I'm like, man, like that's a blessing to be able to I love it, But these are respected. These are things that are generally respected. They hold a certain amount of respect, but they can look like anything. That's what I want to say. Overall, we can kind of change the narrative to be like, anybody can be that, man. Like go for it, So again, I'm sorry I've rambled on enough. Happy holidays, everybody, either on the front end or the back end. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character. That is the true goal of education.